Hi everybody. So today I'm going to show you guys how to bronze, contour, highlight, and do blush, and basically what the difference is between all of that. So today's tutorial I'm actually going to go a little heavier than usual just so you can actually see everything that I'm doing. I wouldn't normally go this heavy, not that I'm against doing heavy blush, bronzer, and contouring, but it's that you want some of that to look fairly natural, especially the contouring. So today I'm actually going to start off with the Too Faced Endless Summer 16-Hour Longwear Bronzer as my contour. I actually don't personally own a great contouring product for myself, given the fact that my skin tone is more on the warm or yellow scale. Aside from that, I have very broad cheekbones, so I don't find it necessary to contour every day. So we're going to go in with the Too Faced Endless Summer, and I'm going to pick up the furless brush. This is the MF3. I used it to set my face. It's not actually dirty, I just used it today. So with the contouring powder, you want to pick something maybe a little more cool tone or fairly matte. A contouring powder should not be super easy to blend with because you don't really need to blend it out heavily. So let's get started and I'll kind of show you what I mean. The fact that there's almost no golden sheen or gild in this is why it's actually fairly good for contouring, and it's not a dark bronzy color either for that matter. It's fairly natural. So I'm taking this angled brush just to kind of show you how I like to do it. I like to push the angle back towards the face as opposed to forward because I don't want to get a big blotchy sort of circle around my mouth. I also like to bring it up around the hairline. Some people who have very round faces up here and then it kind of goes down into a heart could benefit from receding their forehead in a little bit, if that's the look that they want. If they want to sort of narrow out their face and make it look like they have more of a cheekbone. There's constantly controversy on nose contouring, whether it's done by a MUA who does celebrity artists or here on YouTube. Everybody just has strong opinions about nose contouring. I'm actually going to leave that out because it can get truly tricky for a lot of people, like where to stripe it. It doesn't necessarily make your nose any straighter to boot. A lot of people can still see the bone structure, and that will obviously be kind of amplified and highlighted. A lot of people will go straight down the nose tip and sort of contour it, and it will make it look more round and bulbous. So just in the interest of not complicating things, I think it's generally the safe zone to leave any nose contouring out of picture. For blush, I'm going to be taking the Too Faced Perfect Flush Sweethearts blush. This is in the shade Beach Peach. And I'm actually going to go into all three colors. Just put my brush in all three colors. On the same day that I'm doing my whole makeup, sometimes I'll take fewer brushes, and that will allow the blending to actually appear better. Don't take the same brush you took today tomorrow though. And especially if your brush is muddy, put it down, even if it's the same day, and switch it out. Also, in between colors, you can go like this, just to relieve some of the pigment. This might be too dense a brush for some people to use for blush, so another example of a brush you can go ahead and use would be a nice stippling brush. This is the Furless PPF3. That's a good one to have, and I think that's in the pink line. So I'm using the Black Beauty line today. The reason I'm using the same brush is just to show you sometimes how using the same brush to blend out face powders can really be beneficial if you have a hard time with blending. But you can still use a contour brush with blending. It's actually way better than using, sometimes there's these flat brushes. Do I have one? No. I've seen people get this one confused with a blush brush, and people are asking me why I use this for foundation. And it's because it creates that sort of stippled airbrush effect like an airbrush gun would. But yeah, that one's not a blush brush. Now for bronzer, you can take whatever you like. I want to get into a shimmery, very, bold bronzer, just to kind of show you the difference between that and a contour for effect. I'm taking Pacifica's Bronzed, which is right here. They do sell this in a blusher or powder compact individually, but any shimmery, baked, satin, non-matte, brown face color will do for a bronzer. So whether it's golden, whether it's golden light, whether it's sun-kissed baked bronze, any of those names will usually entail that you're gonna have a beautiful bronzer with some sheen in it. Now with bronzer, you're getting a little bit of an opposition to the contouring. The contouring is meant to recede your face in, make it look like you got some structure, like you just had your face nipped and tucked. Bronzer is actually supposed to make you look like you were in the sun. So it's going to create a much different effect. This is why you cannot contour with a bronzer, and this is why you're not really supposed to go in with a contour powder to create a bronzed effect. They're just not the same product, but I think there are so many different products used interchangeably and different ideas of what products can be used for. People begin to get confused on how to use a contour or why you can't use shimmery for contour, but why shimmery is okay for bronzer. There's really no matter of opinion here. I think names have just gotten misworded. So I'm just going to start doing a big C effect, and that's going to give me that dramatic sunny look. Bronzer is supposed to make you look like you sat in the sun when you did not. A lot of people come to me and they want to be foundation number 7 when they're foundation number 1, number 2, number 3. And it's like, no, you don't pick your foundation, you get matched for foundation. You can pick your color though. If you want to be bronze, buy a bronzer. Get fluffy. If you can't get fluffy in one stroke, don't worry about it. Just take little rotation motions and work your way down the face. There will be a difference between this and the contour. One's going to help, like I said, recede your face in. One's going to give you that sunny glow. Now, like I said, it's really kind of hard to decide how you want to contour your nose. Sometimes going down it with bronzer will help recede it in, as opposed to trying to figure out how to stripe and reshape and give yourself plastic surgery. You can do a little bit of bronzer on the chin just to bring that effect down. Now, some people like to do the full E shape with the bronzer. The reason I dislike the full E shape is because you're giving yourself a new foundation color right there. If you took the time to get yourself the right foundation bottle, you're making yourself look like an amateur by doing that. So I like to stop right about here. You just do a little touch. Make sure that you apply the bronzer where the sun hits, which is usually the forehead, the top of the nose bridge, a little on the cheekbone. Sometimes for some people it's even the chin, but it starts getting softer down the neckline because your chin blocks your neck from really hitting the sun. I'm now going to be taking the Pumpkin and Poppy Inner Glow highlighter in Celestial. This is a beautiful finishing face powder. It is probably the most befitting face highlighter powder anybody can ever have. It matches so many skin tones. If you're super porcelain, I strongly suggest you get yourself Aphrodite. You might find this is a little too apricot for you, but I know people who are really pale that love this as well. But I don't know too many people who are really dark that absolutely love this. I love this, but you gotta work with it if you fall into the medium side, because it can be quite bright. I'm gonna go ahead and take my favorite one though, Celestial, because most people are gonna be able to work with that better. Now with highlighting, the thing to know with highlighting is that you are actually bringing some features forward. So if you do not like a feature, you have acne on a certain feature, do not put highlighter on that particular problem area because you are going to be amplifying it. So what are your favorite features? Decide for yourself now. That's what you're going to highlight. Doesn't have to be anybody else's opinion but your own. If you really like your cheekbones, it doesn't matter what your face shape is, go ahead and highlight that. You like your nose? Go ahead and highlight that. Not everybody likes the nose bridge highlight, so I'm actually going to not put it in today's tutorial because we already went through down the nose with bronzer and we tried to alleviate the whole contouring situation. I'm going to do the cheekbones, and even though my face is wide, I don't really need to amplify my cheekbones. Rather than starting out here, I'm going to go ahead and start here under the eyes because I'm really tired and it can make a greater impact on brightening up the rest of my look. Some people like to do it on the forehead. They really like their forehead. Just something to be aware of though. I do my forehead a lot, but my profile is flat. There's nothing to bring forward. So I don't mind seeing a little bit of that shine, that dew right there. Some people like to do it on the Cupid's bow. and just be really soft on the Cupid's bow. Use less pressure on the brush so you don't create a milk mustache. And that will just make your lip up here a little larger, so when you put on your lip gloss it's really very pretty. And I used one simple little brush, a couple products. You don't need to go to this extreme every day. This is basically a full face of contouring, bronzing, highlighting, and it's basically like a very light-handed everyday way to sculpt the face. It's very fast to do. It's actually more complexion enhancing, more beautiful in my opinion than doing a dramatic smoky eye. Also, if you have really good skin and you don't want to wear foundation concealer, yes, those people exist, and I never try to change anybody when I'm selling them makeup. I'd rather sell them a ton of skincare and get them into that, and rather than selling them foundations and concealers that they're not going to use, I'd rather sell them that. You know, if you still want to sculpt without that full face of foundation concealer, you can do so. Go ahead, put your moisturizer on, put on a translucent setting veil, and you'll get that nude skin look, and then your face will be prepped and primed and ready to go for all the sculpting on a nude skin canvas. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Hope this helps you out greatly. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Like I said, this wasn't a contouring, bronzing, and highlighting video for the stars, for pros. This is for everybody with products that they sell. It's for it or anywhere else you can find them. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.